I have a guilty pleasure on YouTube, and it's usually Karen videos, Ken videos, I guess. People call them Kens. I like to call them Mitches because they're basically male bitches. Kens, Mitches, Karens, whatever you want to call them. People who just have too much time on their hands to go do something else. So instead, they're going to bother people with something that's not even that important. But then there are some things where you kind of have to take notice of it. And one of the things is, of course, custody battles. And I say this because while I was watching videos this week, I came across this YouTube channel called Karen Karma. And one of the videos on there was a video they put out called 24 Minutes of Rude Karens versus Judges. And, of course, they have a bunch of court clips here of Karens trying to be above the judge that's right in front of them, or the people in front of them, because they're just Karens and they feel like they are superior to everybody else but themselves. And they had a clip from one show that used to be on TV back it's a couple of years ago. It was called Lauren Lake's Paternity Court, which I never watched in particular. I don't usually go into watching those court shows. The only ones I've ever really watched are little bits of the People's Court with Marilyn. I think Marilyn Marshall, I think it is. The person who was just on there the last couple of years that show was on the air. And then a little bit of Judge Judy, because there are some fun Judge Judy moments where people get shut down so quickly, cases just end almost abruptly. Like, that's fun stuff there. But this right here, I saw this in one of the compilations, and I had to look up the information on this story before I really delved into it, because I feel like this is something I need to talk about, because this is something that's just like, when you watch it and you see how one person reacts compared to the other person, it's just really unbelievable to see. I've got the episode here, and this is basically, it says in the description, Miller versus Rasmussen. A Tigerton, Wisconsin woman is in court to prove that her ex-fiancé, the man who drove 100 miles per week to see his daughter, is not in fact the biological father. So I'm not going to play the whole clip here. I just want to play the end of the episode, because I feel like that's where we need to go into this conversation here, because this is where you find out whether or not the kid is actually this guy is actually the father of the kid, or he's not. And I want you to watch this clip very closely. I'm going to stop it right to the point where it's going to get really, really, you're going to hate yourself for it, but you also might laugh at how over the top this woman gets.
In the case of Miller versus Rasmussen, when it comes to 3-year-old Zaylee Rasmussen, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Rasmussen, you are not.
Okay, so he just found out he's not the father. And you're going to see in this clip here, I want you to notice two things. One, the guy is devastated. He's devastated because, as it says, he drove 100 miles for the birth of is every week to see his kid. And he drives 100 miles for the birth of his child that this woman says isn't his. And so, okay, the father is the guy here clearly is devastated at the fact that he does not have the opportunity. That this is obviously now confirmed that he is not the father of this child. But you're going to see that this guy actually gives more of a crap about his daughter than what the mother is going to show you. I stopped it right before the moment when she found out, and I just want you to listen to this. Now, it's revealed that the guy's not the father. So the mother, ordinarily, if you watch an episode of Maury Povich, when they do the "you are not the father" sequence, if the mother is the one that's instigating the thing and she's hoping that the father's there, she will usually be very emotional. She will be very upset. She will go into the back where they have a couch waiting for them to cry on, because if you did it in front of the cameras, it just, I don't know, I guess maybe people laugh at you this, but no. Not this woman. This woman decides to do something so heinous and so ridiculously horrible that I'm just going to let the clip play.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Rasmussen, you are not the father.
Stop the damn dancing! Act like you got some goddamn sense, people! Damn!
Stop that. Just, you heard that right. This woman as soon as she heard the phrase, "You are not the father," she's dancing around like she's on the Maury Povich show. Not just her, but the person she has next to her is celebrating too. So it's like, what are you celebrating for? Like, really? What the hell are you celebrating for? Like, I just don't get it. And that right there shows you how much of a monster this woman is. Like, and I don't think I need to tell you about it. Let's let Lauren Lake, the judge here, tell you.
Miss Miller.
Be respectful.
I'm sorry.
Miss Miller.
I'm sorry.
You know, notice in the clip, if you're watching this clip with me, you notice that nobody else said anything. Nobody got up and cheered. Nobody did the crazy, the dancing like they do on the Maury Povich show. Everybody else was respectable. They were quiet, except for these two women right here. Yes! And she's still going, and she just smirked and smiled like she just won the lottery. It's just like, what are you celebrating for, you stupid, stupid bitch?
That's a lot of nerve, considering the alternative is somebody that don't want nothing to do with you or your child.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve.
And you see the guy is just devastated. Like, he is so heartbroken by this whole thing. And you really do feel for this guy. Like, you really do feel his pain right now because of this. And the mother is just like, I'm just happy that, for what? Like,
You just showed me where your priorities were right there.
I'm sorry.
Because I held out hope that you weren't just acting a fool because you so mad at him because he cheated on you that you would cheat your child out of a father. But that cheering you did, what you cheering? I'm a single mother with nobody that loves me or my child. What you cheering for?
I'm not.
No, you were. He is over here breaking down because he loves this child so much. I sit here day after day after day with women hoping a man would drive 16 miles to see their baby, much less 160 miles each way, and abide by a court order and sign a birth certificate and come day after day and week after week so they can grow visitation to have a relationship with a child. And you have no compassion for not just him, but for Zaylee. She's 3 years old. Now, he's not just gonna be heartbroken. We gotta break this news to her. And y'all over here cheering like it's a sport. This is this baby's life. And I asked you, where's this other man? I don't know. And you know he don't want nothing to do with you.
I've worked in a grocery store for the last 2 decades. I've seen families and parents that, I've seen in my life that I've honestly told myself I never want to have kids. Not because I don't want to ever be a father or anything. I just don't feel like I could really be. I'm at that point where I don't feel like I could be as good of a parent as people want me to be. How my parents raised me. Like, every time I see families when I'm working and when I'm out, and I see a lot of them the children acting like they're at Chuck E. Cheese, and the parents are hardly doing anything, if anything at all, not showing any discipline, because if they show discipline, it means they're a horrible parent. No, if there's discipline, it's showing that you're a good parent. And most of the time I see that, but a lot of times I don't see that, and that's why I don't want to have kids. Like, I'm not really ready to be a father. Maybe I will be someday, but I'm in no mood right now in any point in time to become a parent. But let me tell you something. I hope I never get to the point where I'm forced to have a kid and I have to have a wife like that, or the mother of that, be so, like, you could just tell that she never wanted to have this kid. Like, she's one of those unfit mothers you hear about all the time. The type of mothers you see in these types of videos where they're forced to having a kid because they have no choice. She doesn't know who the father is, and quite frankly, she doesn't want to know. And that's a big mistake right there. As you see throughout this clip, if you're watching along with me, the father is this guy is just so devastated because, think about it, not only is he devastated, but his 3-year-old little girl is still too young to really get an idea of how the world works and all that. And now the fact that she's going to have to find out from somebody, either her mother or the judge, that this guy that's been taking care of her the last couple of years is not the real father. It's just devastating to listen to, and it's just like audacity to go out on there and be like, if I'm gonna be so happy, like you feel like you just won the lottery because you're a horrible person, and this person that's been taking care of your child is not the person that you get, is that was actually her father. It's just like, it's unbelievable how people act sometimes, and it's sickening to think about that. But unfortunately, people like her show that it's more common than we give them credit for. Like, usually on these shows, you can usually tell when somebody is like hamming it up to get an overreaction. I don't feel like this guy is overreacting at all. I feel like that's the exact reaction you would have, knowing that this person that you've taken care of is not your child. And the fact that this mother probably does, I'm willing to bet you this mother probably doesn't know who the father really is, because, you know, who knows? Maybe she is sleeping around with other people. But you know what? There are places out there where you can easily find that information pretty quickly. It's going to cost you a little it's a pretty penny or two, but you know what? The little girl deserves to know who her real father is. And like, I don't know what happened to this guy in particular, but I hope that he's still somewhat in his life somehow, in her life somehow, because of, you know, the fact that they were together for that long period of time. But, you know, I hope that this wasn't the last time he saw her, and like they still have somewhat of a connection. I mean, this is just something that's really, you know, this is something that really, like, you have to be smart. You have to know what you're doing if you're gonna take care of a child. Like, taking care of pets is tough enough. But at least with a pet, you get an idea. It's simple. It's mostly like, you know, comfort them, make sure they're fed right, make sure they have toys to play with. But with a child, a human child, that is something so important, and so much has to go into it before you're really ready to say that you're ready to have a kid. But basically, this woman right here, the fact that she was literally cheering the fact that her daughter's fatherless is just like I hope karma bit her in the ass big time. Like, I really hope something, like, I don't wish bad things on too many people in general, but like, that's something which just gotta, like, you know, I hope karma gets you one day, and I hope and hopefully it does. Like I said, this is something that's been around for a couple of years now, so who knows, maybe that is something that happened.